Hello, and welcome again to another walk and talk with the channel known as Arizona Trails to Philippine Tales. And like I always start, I always want to thank everyone that has subscribed and also liked and shared. But most importantly, again, those that have commented. And just for those people that do comment, I ask that you do at least read the comments. It's going to be beneficial for everyone to read before making comments, because if somebody does answer a comment or a question that you might have, it's probably already there in the comments, and all I have to do is read it and learn from it. And so today's topic is going to be actually the honeymoon phase. Now, usually what you do in the honeymoon phase is you get ready to go to whatever country that you want to live in, such as the Philippines. And basically what you want to do is you research it, get all your information together, and you're thinking, all right, all set, ready to go. You get over there, you arrive in the Philippines or the country. The sun is shining nice and bright, and the people are really nice, really friendly. You have good food, eat a good meal, do some entertainment, and next thing you know, you realize that you're not on vacation. You realize that, wow, this is the place that I intend on spending the rest of my life enjoying retirement. So, in a way, that is you entering the honeymoon phase and then realizing that that's what you're in, and then your reality sets in and you have to go forward. Some more examples of that. I remember even back in high school, most kids, some want to work and some don't. Me, I was always one of those people that knew that money was important. Matter of fact, without money, you couldn't buy the things that you needed in life. So as a high school student, nobody's going to hire you and give you more than, 20 hours. I mean, you'd be lucky to get anywhere from 4 to 20 hours on your work schedule as a high school student. And so what I did, just like that Saturday Night Live episode that I told you about in one of my videos, I got 4 jobs. I worked in a movie theater. I worked in a toy store. I worked in a video store. And I worked in a grocery store. So those were my 4 jobs, and I think between all 4 jobs, I was able to make, 40 hours a week. Still played sports in school. I think I stopped perhaps my sophomore year, stopped playing sports just so that I can concentrate, make money, and buy those things that I thought I needed. So, that was my honeymoon phase, the reality of getting older, needing to find out what I needed to do in life in order to try and succeed. And so that was the end of that honeymoon phase. And then I decided to, after high school, decided to move out to a place that was nice and warm, bright sunshine, try to get away from those Indiana weathers. Lots of snow and stuff. So, of course, I chose Arizona and did all the research, got everything together, and came out to Arizona. Now, I got to transfer my, so the toy store that I was working in, I could actually transfer. So I did a transfer from Indiana to Arizona for the toy store. I think at that time I was making, maybe $4.25 per minute, or per hour. I wish it was per minute, but yeah, it was $4.25 an hour. And So I did all my research, and it was sort of nice. Arizona is really nice and sunny, and I thought, oh great, I don't have to worry about winter anymore. And I was doing pretty well. And then sort of the honeymoon phase of that started to drift a little bit when I realized, I'm only making $4.25 an hour. But then again, I had good relations with the assistant manager and manager at that time, I think. And we all talked. And one day the manager goes, hey, I'm leaving the store. That means my assistant manager is going to take over for me. And then, hey, Steve, how would you like to be assistant manager? I thought, great. That means now I could probably get paid $7 or $8 an hour. That would be a big boom. So everything is cool, and I continue work and enjoying Arizona with the toy store. At that time, I still needed extra money, and of course, knowing what I did in Indiana, I was like, well, maybe I can get a second job. So not only in the toy store did I work, but I also worked for a movie theater. I was working in the mall, might as well go to the mall and get a second job that I could go to real fast after the other one. So I was making extra money already, but of course I needed a little bit more, and that's what I did. And so time finally came when the manager left, but that honeymoon phase ended. And what I mean by that is the company decided to hire outside, hired a manager. So that meant that the assistant manager and me stayed where we were. So no progress, no extra money, nothing like that. So I'm thinking, man, it is expensive here in Arizona. I don't think $4.25 is going to cut it. Plus what I was getting from the movie theater. So, which I think on average I was probably making about $6 an hour maybe. So, man, seems like a long time ago compared to today. But, so yeah, that did not work out. So I'm out driving the car, cruising here in Arizona. I came up with a person that was from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. And he says, as young as you are, what you need to do is you need to join the military. So being the young kid that I was, he had a good sales pitch. I said, okay. Now, of course, joining the military didn't necessarily mean joining the Air Force at that time. I did my research. I said, which is better, Navy or Air Force? I heard Navy's got really good food. Air Force is sort of like the chair force. So, I don't know. Either one could be good. And then I watched the training videos and things like that. And I remember watching the Navy training video where they're in a room that starts filling up with water. And I was thinking to myself, man, Navy's good and all, but man, if I had the choice of how I wanted to die, I sure wouldn't want to drown. So I opted Air Force. So, did what I needed to do in order to join the Air Force as an listed, and joined the military as a computer information system specialist. I actually had a high ASVAB score and got a guaranteed job. So, that was sort of nice. They say those guaranteed jobs are few and far between. But I got it, and I was happy. And went in. And I enjoyed the military until the honeymoon phase ended. Matter of fact, I think by my third year, I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to re-enlist. And, and then once I got out of the military, well, I'm still at that money issue. I'm still dealing with what do I need to do in order to survive. So, as an enlistment person, you don't get really any benefits unless you're disabled. I mean, I get to go to the VA for a yearly checkup. I get to go to maybe get some medicines, and then if I go to a local restaurant, I get a 10 to 20% discount. So yeehaw, I'm glad that we have those military benefits. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I should do something I should have did when I first came to Arizona. I mean, really, now that I think about it, when I first came to Arizona, I should have just joined the U of A at that time, tried to get into the U of A, go to school and get a degree. I mean, shoot, if I was going to take the military path, I should have just went ahead and maybe did their Air Force ROTC program, get a scholarship, help pay for those bills, and then go into the military afterwards as an officer. And once I got to be an officer, I could pay back any student loans that I could have had. And then once I left the military as an officer, I would still get paid, retirement pay, depending on my rank. But I think I did it backwards. That's probably why I went in as enlisted, then graduated from the U of A, and now I don't really get any veterans benefits except for the health and the occasional discount at a restaurant or store or whatever. If you live in a veteran-friendly town, they'll give you some discounts. But shoot, as an officer, I would have had more in retirement money, and then I could have gotten even a better job. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, being an enlisted person, I was a computer information systems specialist. And then when I did go to the U of A, I graduated with a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in network engineering. And then, of course, I knew to work as a government contractor with job titles such as cybersecurity analyst and systems engineer. And then that's when I took all that money. Again, what can I do to have a money income flow? You know, I put that money in investments and try and see what I can do to get an income greater than that, than if I was working. So again, those are examples of a honeymoon phase. You can do the research, you can have an idea of what you want, get there, start living the dream, but then all of a sudden, reality sets in. I mean, even thinking about the college kids nowadays, you know, I can only imagine, you know, them doing all the research. Let's say they get their Pell grants and scholarships, and they think, all right, you know, I got it made. I'm going to have my tuition paid for. Well, you never know. They might get the bill. Bill ends up being more than what they were planning on. So now they're thinking, Pell grants, scholarships paid this much, but I need to come up with this much. Well, that honeymoon phase is now over about college life. Now comes in the reality of trying to get money and doing what you need to do to survive. So like I said, if I was to do it all over again, I would have definitely stayed in school, joined ROTC, graduated, be a commissioned officer, you know, leave the military with a pension, and then try and do everything that I did after that. So again, I think I did it backwards. So, but you don't know those things. I mean, you can do all the research that you want to do, and I'm sure most of you have done all the research that you can possibly do about going to a foreign country or living there. And until you actually do live in that foreign country, you're just in the honeymoon phase. So, I think that's what I want to talk about as far as being in that honeymoon phase. I do have to admit that Flora and I actually walked this trail early this morning, even before the sun rose. So I am a little tired and exhausted by walking it again, but that's okay. No problem at all. So again, I want to thank you for subscribing and doing those likes, shares, and subscribes. And just think about what's going to happen after that honeymoon phase is over and you start settling in to that reality of how you're going to survive and do what you need to do to have an enjoyable retirement or lifestyle or whatever it is that you think that you need to do. And I encourage that. Again, I encourage commenters. I always want you guys again to comment. I want you to provide again your experience, your scenario, your reaction, and your resolve. I also encourage you to read the other comments before making a comment, because you never know, that comment or question might have already been answered by a previous comment or answer. And then that way we can keep the commentary fresh. Because I know what I try to do is I answer every question or reply to every person that does make a comment. And I'll be more than happy to repeat myself. But I'm sure that there are times that I answer a question that was previously asked in another comment. But I encourage it. I encourage the comments, so that way not only are you replying to me, but perhaps reply to other people that also making a comment, or they give their experience and so forth. All right, well, I think this is about it. Again, thank you for joining the channel of Arizona Trails to Philippine Tales. And again, I will be in the Philippines 9 days from this video, so time is ticking. All right, do your research and enjoy. Bye-bye.